One of the advantages of growing older is being able to look back and seeing what has transpired. And I must say that there have been huge changes in the world when it comes to hunting and the conservation of habitat. If there's to be any kind of future at all, you have to be aware of human encroachment and how this can be contained to the best of one's ability in order to keep the wildlife in the wilds. If ever there was a body of people, men and women, with a truly vested interest in the sustainable future of wild places and the sustainable future of wildlife species anywhere in the world, it is indeed your hunter conservationist community.
Dallas Safari Club is putting conservation first. Where other groups spend money on mailers, magazines, and calendars, Dallas Safari Club is putting money into boots on the ground, stopping poaching in Africa, conserving wildlife in Asia, and protecting the right to enjoy the outdoors here in the United States.
We're very fortunate to have the Dallas Safari Club Foundation sponsor our anti-poaching helicopter. It's definitely elevated our anti-poaching. It's our eye in the sky. It's pretty widely agreed that if we weren't there as a safari outfit, it would probably take 3 years and 90% of the wildlife would be gone.
If we stopped hunting, we would have to look for alternate land use. The wildlife would be first to go, followed by the timber, and within the space of 10 years, there would be absolutely nothing left. In fact, you would not be able to bring it back from the brink. All the wildlife that you see is there because they have the habitat. And if we're not there, the habitat goes, and with it the wildlife.
Again, good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to DSC's 40th anniversary convention, truly the greatest gathering of hunters and conservationists around the world. We are blessed to be back together again and in person as we raise critical funds to support the mission of DSC. Conservation of the world's wildlife is a critical tenet of DSC's mission. As hunters, we are stewards of our wilderness areas and her precious gift of wildlife. We provide the financial support that funds game departments, both here at home and across the globe. Ours is a pursuit where ethics, game laws, sustainable harvest, and sensible quotas based on sound science are not only supported, but demanded by our fraternity. DSC and the DSC Foundation have a long history of financially supporting a wide range of conservation initiatives, both here at home and internationally. Let me share a much heralded example of DSC-funded conservation that was born out of the global COVID pandemic. Nowhere on earth does wildlife depend more on hunter-funded conservation than in Africa, and in particular, the war on poaching. Worldwide travel bans forced African safari cancellations continent-wide. DSC and the DSC Foundation recognized that critical anti-poaching operations in Africa were at grave risk. We immediately created a support program we called Hunters Care. Hunters Care stands for COVID Anti-Poaching Relief Effort, and this program's focus was to provide emergency financial support to safari operators to ensure that critical anti-poaching work continued during this time of crisis. DSC provided 26 grants to safari operators to support their boots-on-the-ground anti-poaching work. When combined with 24 Hunters Care grants by the DSC Foundation, we help protect in excess of 26 million acres in the continent of Africa. This is just one of the many examples of DSC's continued commitment to the conservation initiatives around the world. Our organization is a globally recognized leader in wildlife conservation. We promote it as conservation through hunting, for it is the hunter who is truly the original conservationist. And as we consider the hunter's role in wildlife conservation around the globe, it is my pleasure to introduce our speaker tonight. Our speaker this evening is Mr. Philip Harmer, President of the International Council for Game and Wildlife Conservation, or as it is better known by many, CIC. CIC is a politically independent, international, non-governmental advisory body that advocates for wildlife conservation through the use and principles of sustainable use. They are a valued international partner to DSC, and in our combined efforts to promote sustainable use as a conservation tool that benefits both wildlife and local communities on a global basis. Both of our organizations are valued members of the International Union for the Conservation of Nature, or IUCN, as well as active participants at the CITES Conference of the Parties. Ladies and gentlemen, please help me welcome Mr. Philip Harmer.
Madam President, dear Mr. Mason, dear ladies, dear fellow hunters. First and foremost, I want to congratulate the Dallas Safari Club on everything I've seen here. For me as European, if I come to America the first time to Dallas, I couldn't believe what you put on. And the know-how, the competence you put together for those 4 days into Dallas, and those 800 exhibitors, 30,000 visitors, those seminars, all about conservation, all about competence in the field of hunting, in the field of nature. I want to congratulate you. That's an outstanding achievement. That's second to none, and you set the standards. Thank you. I really can tell in my function, I've been to many, many conventions, and what I like here is that you are prepared for change. If we look at Mr. Darwin, the survival of the fittest, everyone knows the sentence. It's not the strongest that will survive. It is not the most intelligent that will survive. It is those who are prepared to adapt. And we are open for change. If public does not accept hunting, if public does not support our doing, it will not happen. And that's what I like about Dallas Safari Club, and that's the common ground we share, that we think that we also have to take our compromises and that we also have to change to put conservation in the center of our doing, and not just as a marketing gag, also because it is genuine and from our hearts. The CIC. The CIC was founded 1930 by a Frenchman, an Austrian, and a Hungarian. And it was founded for hunting, not as an organization for hunters, but founded for the benefit of hunting. The mission is to promote and support the conservation of wildlife and related landscapes, local communities and traditions through sustainable use, including hunting. The CSC strongly believes that hunting renders a service to nature and to society, and it is our job to bring this message across to everyone so that the public is supportive of our hunting. The hunters enhance biodiversity. The hunters manage wildlife. They control damages by wildlife. They provide a healthy nutrition, and everyone, especially in those COVID times, is longing for this experience to be one with nature. And hunting, that's this experience. So hunting renders a service, and this has to be understood, because us hunters, we render it for free. It is not by the government, by the taxpayer paid hunting guides or nature guides. It is hunters who are prepared to put the time in, to put the money in, to render these services. Our priorities. First of all, we have to be taken serious. We have to be a credible organization. Credibility, you win by competence, and you win by success. If I give you some European examples, we just have this Green Deal in Europe. Madame von der Leyen came out and she said 10% of Europe should be strictly protected, which means no fishing, no hunting. Our lobbying work, together with FACE, together with ILO, together with farmers, made it possible that this piece of paper was changed and hunting will be allowed in this 10%. Very important, very successful. Number two, Germany. Germany, new government, Green Party in the government. The program of the Green Party is a ban of importing of all trophies, of all hunting trophies. And number two in their program, they wrote, general to forbid the shotgun shot at an animal. Program is program, but in the coalition talks, we were able to sneak in, and there's one party very helpful, and all those ideas are not in the coalition agreement. But without work behind the scenes, it would be there. That's what Dallas Safari Club is for. That's what CIC is for, that we have to work behind the scenes. It's a disaster for me. I like a forward strategy, but it's a disaster that it is to be celebrated as a success if we are successful that not another bad law is introduced. I want to do something positive, but that's our work. We have to communicate, as I said before, the fact that responsible hunting is sustainable use, which benefits biodiversity and people. If I take the European Parliament, 705 members of parliament, 140 of those expressively in favor of hunting, 200 against hunting. So we have to concentrate on the 360 other members of parliament to convince them that what we are telling them is the truth and that it is good and that nature and people, society are benefiting from it. For that we need alliances. That's the reason why Dallas Safari Club and CIC work so well together. This afternoon we had a long session on rural entities, on trophy hunting, which we call international hunting, and on communication, on journalism. And this work together helps us to achieve that goal. Fighting wildlife crime, that's about credibility. You saw it before, wildlife crime, that's a thing we really have to connect with Interpol and so on. We, Dallas Safari Club, CIC, are very much against it. Promoting scientific research for the better understanding of nature, and then we have to be, or we are, as the CIC, a respected competence center for all hunting-related issues. We have 40 states as members. So many states of this world commit to the vision and to the mission of the CIC. We have about 45 international NGOs or international organizations as members. And we have about 1,800 individual members. And our members, we try to get members, to attract members who are close to the lawmaking process, so that we really can play a part in that. We do have partners also where you don't think that they sit. WWF in 2016 announced in an official paper that they hold the position that sustainable hunting is a potential conservation tool. So they can be very helpful. And it's wrong if we see those organizations as enemies only. IUCN anyhow, Dallas Safari Club, CIC, we have a very close relationship to the IUCN. We are even very close to one of the vice presidents. And for them, it's very clear. Sustainable use of nature is something adding value. Legal hunting programs play an important role in delivering benefits for both wildlife conservation and for local communities. So those are relevant allies. The challenges and the threats to wildlife, I don't want to explain here. You all know them. We have to fight because we want wildlife. And we want it because we want to hunt, but that's not the only reason. Because we really believe in the balance of nature. As I said before, the survival of the fittest. Us hunters, we have to adapt. But we shouldn't do it too far. And we have to be smart to find the balance. Because if we are too much into appeasement, we will lose. This famous sentence, an appeaser is one who feeds a crocodile, and then we give another animal not to be hunted anymore, and then we give another hunting method to be not allowed anymore, and so on. If we feed the crocodile too much, then we hope that it will eat us last. And that's also not working. So what I wish you, what I wish myself, what I wish Dallas Safari Club and the CIC, that we find the right balance between adopting and understanding the public, so that the public is understanding us and is voting in favor of us, and other sides not to be too much into appeasement and smooth talking. We have to stay honest. Hunting, we love, and we love trophies, and we have to be honest. If we deny that, we are too much into appeasement, and then we lose everything. Tonight, it's about conservation. And I know that Dallas Safari Club is now holding a big auction, and I want really to take this appeasement example for fighting a war, for standing our position. We do need money, and Dallas Safari Club is wonderful in doing that, and please open your pockets also for Dallas Safari Club tonight. Thank you very much. Thank you.